Peace be with you. Welcome to another edition of Let the Quran Speak. My name is Safiyyah. I'm your host. Honor killings. Why are there reports of some Muslims supposedly committing honor killings? And why are other Muslims consider honor killings so abhorrent? We'll be looking at that later in the show. We'll also be taking a look at the month of Shaban, the month before Ramadan. With me, Brother Shabir Ali from the Islamic Information Center. Brother Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
Before we get to the topics I've discussed, let's look at a verse from the Quran. And this week our verse is from Surah 39, it's verse 7. And it looks at a number of different themes. It begins by speaking about those who reject God and what the repercussions are.
Yeah, it is interesting that the word here for rejecting God is kufr, and it has the meaning here of refusing to give thanks. It's more like ingratitude.
Okay.
So ingratitude and rejection of God or disbelief in God are both given by the same term in the Arabic in the Quran, in takfuru, if you are ungrateful. Yes, that's where it begins, and it says that if you are ungrateful to God, then God is free. You should know that God is free of need of you.
So he has no need for you, but it continues that God he's not really happy with that sort of situation.
Yeah, the verse says, وَلَا يَرْضَ عَلَى عِبَادِهِ الْكُفْرِ. God is not pleased for his servants to be in this state of ingratitude. وَإِن تَشْكُرُوا يَرْضَهُ لَكُمْ. And if you were to give thanks, he would be pleased with that on your behalf or for you. And then it goes on to say that eventually you're going to return to God, and he is going to judge you. He's going to inform you about the things that you used to have doubts or differ about. And he, after all, knows the secrets of the heart.
Okay, so what particular parts of the verse jumped out at you when you read it?
Well, there is one statement that which I neglected to mention earlier, and it's very important because it sums up a very basic principle in Islamic teachings. لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. One soul will not bear the burden of another. It is up to God to forgive the sins of people, but he does not take the sins of one and put it on the shoulders of another.
Is this something that could be applied to, everyday life as well? Or is this more about the life hereafter and God judging us?
I mean, it is a basic principle that informs our whole system of justice as well, in that we do not take the burden of one and place it on another. We do not blame the innocent for the sins or the crimes of the guilty.
Okay. What about the beginning where God mentions that, he's displeased with, or he's unhappy with the situation where people are disbelieving or turning their backs on him?
In classical writings on the question of predetermination, what the scholars have referred to as al-qada wal-qadr, the decree and destiny of God. This verse is often cited to show that even though God, it is within the ambit of God's will and power and knowledge for some people to be non-believers, it is not the wish of God. It is not. He's not pleased with that. He's not pleased with the fact that some people are going to be disbelievers, even though he willed it so. And that is a basic insight that I share, and all Muslims should share, in that God created the world such that people will inevitably be non-believers. There will be some who will be such. But God is not happy with that state of affairs. That's not what he would like for these individuals.
But does this indicate then that God is constrained in some way? Sort of limiting his power?
At least we should understand the tension that could exist between, on the one hand, saying that God willed everything to be as it is, and then on the other hand, saying that he is not really happy with the way that things turn out.
Yes.
The way the classical scholars put it, as if God willed a particular person to be an unbeliever, and still God is not happy with that particular person being a non-believer. That hardly rings true. What seems more likely is that God created the entire world in such a way that it will develop in a certain direction, and within that scope of development, there will be some individuals who will choose of their own accord, without being predetermined to do so. They will choose of their own accord to be non-believers. And God is not happy with the fact that this will happen, but He has created what we will refer to as the best of all possible worlds, in that there has to be this combination and balance between belief and non-belief, the contrast available and the choice available to those who will choose it. But the choice available for the believers to deliberately choose to worship God means that there is also a choice available for those who wish to turn away from God, to deliberately choose to disobey God and to disbelieve in Him and deny Him and be ungrateful. So He creates the world knowing of this, and He knows that some people will be non-believers as a result. And He's not happy with that part of it, but He, in creating a world in which people will have the freedom of choice, this becomes inevitable.
And the verse ends by saying, well, to your Lord is your return. How does that orient a Muslim?
Well, it gives a Muslim a direction in life, in that if we just found ourselves here on the earth with no direction, no purpose, no guidebook, no sense of why we are here, science can only explain to us how our body functions, but not why it is here to function to begin with. Science can try to trace the development and the evolution of life over history, but they cannot tell us what is the power behind all of this, and for what cause and to what end this development is taking place. Where are we heading after this? There's a myriad of possibilities that are imaginable, but which is the possibility that will ultimately manifest itself? The guidance about that comes from God in His sacred scripture, and what we're told here in a nutshell is that we're finally returning to God. We are on a journey. It's not a journey linearly that we are going in terms of physical space, but it is a spiritual journey. Our bodies will remain here, but our souls will go back to meet God, and then He's going to inform us about all of the puzzles in life, and He's going to judge us according to the actions that we have performed here.
All right, thank you for explaining the verse.
You're welcome.
And we'll take a break. When we come back, we will look at the month of Shaban in preparation for Ramadan.